Come from the professional dance industry. I was with the crew Jabbawockeez. We did a TV show back in 2008. You think that it's, bro, you kind of have it made. Why do you need to change it up? So when God's tugging at your heart, when the Holy Spirit's trying to activate something in you, there's no denying that that's the thing that you're actually craving.
Ruslan.
Into that, guys, my name is Ruslan, and this channel exists to encourage you to mastermind your business the master's way. All right, now let's get into the video.
I come from the professional dance industry. I was with the crew Jabbawockeez. We did a TV show back in 2008, America's Best Dance Crew that we won, and that kind of just like kicked us off on this crazy roller coaster of just touring the world to eventually like landing a residency show in Las Vegas at the MGM hotels. Since then, I've been back in LA since 2014, and then I joined another crew called the Kinjas, which I'm a co-owner of, and it's another international dance brand, and I've been doing that. So dance has kind of been the prominent thing for the last 20 plus years, and Kevin and we became friends over the pandemic.
Okay.
And, just kind of meshing both worlds of entertainment and food, dance, and then all of it kind of just like, yeah, that's all cool. But man, we want to just kind of just do like life, but in a way that we can invite people into the normal thing that we do, but how God is integrated in everything. And so just conversations led up to us thinking about like, should we do a podcast? And then we kind of came on the idea of like good service because it kind of revolved around food because that's just how we met was like over these meals and things like that. So like, yo, man, let's just do a podcast where we just have a conversation over a meal. We'll bring in, folks that, we know in different spaces, whether that be in traditional ministry or the, marketplace ministry, entertainment. And that's kind of the birth of good service. And so we've been rocking now for almost a year.
That's what's up. So transitioning from dance, well, specifically Jabbawockeez to the Kinjas. Did I say that right? Kinjas,
Kinjas, yep.
Would you feel like maybe there was a bit less faith integration than you would have preferred? Was that kind of some of the burden for doing some of the creative stuff? Because I've always heard the Jabbawockeez being here in San Diego that you guys were faith-based, so there was some faith-based Christian
there's
overlap.
some believers like in the crew, but we never overtly did anything Christian, I mean, we wore these white masks and, if anything, it was about bringing out music and showcasing what movement and music looks like. And so that was kind of our whole thing. But, like as the people behind the masks, there were a few of the homies, myself included, who do love God, but we never really put that out in our creative output.
Was that hard as someone that loves Jesus and wants to make him known, right? Was there that this integration, was that kind of tough to not be able to be maybe more overt in terms of your profession? Or were you always cool with kind of like, okay, this is the dance world, I get the privilege of doing this here, and my faith is my faith? Because I think there's a lot of creatives that kind of wrestle with that, right? Like whether you're a dancer or you're running a business or you are some of my friends who are artists that we've talked about, right? And that tension of how much do I share? Because if I share too much, then it's going to alienate people. I'll tell you a conversation I had with one of the biggest TikTokers recently about his own tension with all of this and wanting to be more overt with his faith. And he has one of the biggest music TikToks out there. And so this is stuff that people are wrestling with. So when you were in that situation, what was that like for you?
I think for me, I never really felt this pressure or even need to be like, I need to let the world know that I'm a Christian in everything that I do and say. I think I was just, but I have a different view of it now, but I think then it's like, yo, I'm going to do what I do because this is what God has given me the platform to do. And then, hopefully if I get to actually engage with people, when they engage with me through conversation, they're going to see what drives me. But I would say during those years, though, I mean, this sort of overnight success thing kind of was what I was experiencing. And, we went from being these guys who were just trying to dance and make a living. And then somehow, I use my air quotes of overnight, we became like the name and the face of dance. You know what I mean? And we were young dudes at the time, so we weren't ready for that. And so I think when we got that sort of recognition, and when I use the overnight success air quotes, I mean, we had been doing this for over a decade prior to even getting recognized.
2008?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
wow.
we started, so Jabbawockeez was founded in 2003.
Okay.
And
So at
but-
least 5 years as the
as
Jabbawockeez.
the crew, yeah. No
Yeah.
TV. We were just doing shows, and we were just like, yo, we love dance. We're homies, and this is us just getting down because we love it. But then when the TV show happened, we've had years of just prepping for this, and when we actually finally had that opportunity, I think we just kind of got hit, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I got caught up, with that lifestyle, and so even more so, my faith was very like compartmentalized, and like the balance, so to speak, was off, and I think I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I'm gonna do my thing here, and I think my thing here became more of the focus where I like kind of lost my way. And so, in 2013 was when I had this sort of like radical like re-encounter with God, and like God was shaking me up, and he's like, bro, what are you doing? Like this isn't the life that I called you to. And so, without getting too crazy into it, like that was where I rededicated my life back to the Lord. And that became more of a fire. And like, I'm like, yo, man, I don't want to keep this so like, not that I was trying to keep it under wraps, but I want to bring that out a little bit more to the forefront.
It's interesting because I wonder if keeping it under wraps is something that may cause that drift to happen for some people, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, yo, it's just my faith. I'm going to compartmentalize. I'm here to serve people by just dancing, and that's it. And so do you think there's any correlation? I mean, because you guys had how long did the residency in Vegas go for? That was a big deal.
Yeah, started in 2010, and it's still going strong to this day, So
and when did you kind of phase out of that?
End of 2014. So I did almost 5 years from the beginning of it, and then I kind of left around that 2014 time. Yeah.
Was that hard to transition from that? Because I'm assuming Vegas, the Strip, the money's probably great.
Yeah.
Right. You're in front of thousands of people a night. Talk to me about that.
Dude, it's weird, bro. Like in a very, front facing, you think that it's, bro, you kind of have it made. Why do you need to change it up? And that's the interesting thing about when God's tugging at your heart, when the Holy Spirit's trying to activate something in you, there's no denying that that's the thing that you're actually craving. You said money, comfort. It's so weird, bro. Like I call Las Vegas the more Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like it's what people think about how Hollywood is. It's all plastic, and it's all about who you are and what can you do for me kind of thing. Vegas is that on steroids. You know what I mean? So for us, we got free treatment to everything. We want to go to the club, we want to go to shows, we want to go to restaurants. It's just like VIP treatment for everything. So if you think that's what life is, we had it, but something about that just wasn't it. And I was feeling, maybe, I don't want to say maybe, I know this is it, is because the roots of where my heart truly was like, it's in Jesus, but I think I've been kind of pushing that to the corner. And God, by his grace, was like, hey, that's not where it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be at the very top.
Was there anything specific that happened that caused this encounter, then transition out of the Vegas Jabbawockeez scene that you could share?
Yeah, I mean, thank God I was still going to church on Sundays. That was kind of the only thing that I was doing for my faith, I wasn't in healthy community. I was just kind of running with the crew, and then on Sundays I would go to church. And sometimes that's all it takes, and I was just sitting in a sermon one Sunday, and, my pastor was teaching at a revelation, the be hot or cold, not lukewarm. And I was like, cool, I've heard this one, like, let me just cruise through this sermon. And then God was like, you ain't cruising through this one. Like, I'm gonna get right into the heart, your heart. We're gonna do some surgery today. And the Lord made it very clear. He's like, I'm talking to you. You're the lukewarm that I'm talking about here. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks, bro. I broke down in tears, and it was like the scales fell off again. I'm like, whoa, like, how did I get here? And I was living all kinds of, dual lifestyle, two-faced lifestyle. And I was living in sin, and I was engaged to be married at the time. There was a whole lot that was happening. And just even what I was going through with the crew, things were shifting. And then I felt like God was saying, you need to come back. And I said, okay, God, I'm ready to come back. But then I don't even think I knew what that meant, because it took a whole year after that. Was in 2013 when this happened. It took a whole year of me learning what needed to be deconstructed, what needed to be broken in order for God to rebuild. And that was painful, bro. There was just like, yo, this might not be for you anymore. Are you able to leave this? Are you able to trust me? Because then, you know, when I'm talking to my friends, sorry about that. When I'm talking to my friends about, yo, man, I don't know if this is for me anymore. I might need a dip. Of course, everybody's question is like, so what are you going to do then? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, well, you probably shouldn't leave this until you know, like that's not smart. And my answer to that was, yeah, I don't think that's the move. I think the move is to respond to what God is saying. God is saying, get up and go, you know, and I got that very clear image of Jesus calling Peter to step out onto the water. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Peter knows, like, yo, this is water. This is not walkable terrain. You know what I mean? And then, but Jesus said, but Peter said, Lord, if that's really you, command me to come out. Yeah. And he said, come out. And he stepped and he started walking. So, you know, to me, it was like, I didn't feel like the Lord was saying, you need to know what's on the other side of that step. I felt like what the Lord was saying, you need to know that I'm calling you to step and trust that you're going to walk when you step. And so I stepped out, left Vegas, left the whole thing, came back to LA, nothing planned. And then the Lord quickly met me, because I thought dance and all that was over too. But then I had linked with, you know, two of my friends, Mike and Anthony, who started Kinjas at the time. And they reached out to me. We linked up. Long story short, they were like, yo, man, help us build Kinjas, you know, and I felt that there was a deeper reason and meaning for me to do dance, because I thought dance was over. It's so closely tied to Jabbawockeez that it was almost this like traumatic thing. Like, I can't dance because it's so close to what I just came from. But God reframed what dance was supposed to be for. And he was like, use this for my kingdom. I gave you this because I give you access to people through this. So use that as your way to access people for my kingdom. So I said, okay, God, let's do that. Wow. So yeah.
That's incredible. What to kind of pinpoint a bit more practically, you feel this tug to step out on faith. Was there things that you had kind of taken care of in your personal life practically? Like, did you have some money saved up? Were you able to kind of make that transition where you weren't just going from like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm set to like nothing, you know? Like, was there lifestyle creep bad, meaning you were just kind of blowing all your bread? Or were you like in a stable space financially to take? Because I think that's a lot of things that aren't factored in when people are taking those steps of faith. Is like, if you are halfway wise, that transition is way smoother. When God tells you to go,
wise,
halfway wise. Because if God's telling you to like, yo, I want you to move from Vegas, leave your life behind, and follow me in this way, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna have to go drive for Uber, right? Or like, okay, cool, I got a little bit of an on ramp to help me move and then figure out what I'm gonna do. What was that like practically?
Yeah, praise God, I was halfway wise. You know, I had some bread saved up. And you know, and bless the homies, man. You know, as I departed, they gave me, you know, kind of a departing gift as well. So that's
dope.
Yeah, it was a blessing, man. And you know, even with that, I was like, they didn't have to, you know. So like, God already knew how he was planning to take care of me. And so yeah, that year of, you know, 2014 was my transitional year. And you know, thank God I was able to live off of just the things that I kind of had saved up. And that gave me that breathing room to figure out, now that I was kind of like, all right, I'm going to do this Kinjas thing. Like, here's how we got to like start. If we're going to be a business, like, boom, here's some like foundational things that we got to get, you know, in place. So we just kind of laid down the foundations of that year. And man, like, when God has a plan, like, he knows how to like super speed you into whatever that plan is. Because 2015, which was the year right after all of this foundational, that's when that very show that we won, ABDC on MTV, that came back for a season 8, and that was in 2015. And then they invited Kinjas to be on that show.
Wow, full circle.
Full circle, like literally a whole, I mean, from season 1 to season 8, like literally, you know, like, and that season 8 was supposed to be season of champions, meaning they wanted to bring back all the previous winners of the seasons before to compete to become the ultimate America's Best Dance Crew, which was funny because Kinjas had never competed. We were never on the show prior, but Kinjas was comprised of a lot of former ABDC champions, like myself from Jabbawockeez, and then Mike Song was on Kaba Modern. He was also season 1. They were a fan favorite crew. There were a couple of homies that were like on Most Wanted crew that were also a part of Kinjas. So the way that the producers saw it is like, yo, man, this is kind of like the all-stars of all these other teams that these guys were on, and now they are like this like sort of all-star crew. So they brought us on as like this wild card crew, and then we made it all the way to the finals. So it was between Kinja's and Quest crew. We lost to Quest crew at the end, but you know, we gained a lot of exposure. We gained a ton of followers and fans that even though we lost the show, we did a crowdfunding campaign that our intention was to win the show, to use that money to build a dance studio. And, you know, the prize was like $100K, and we didn't win the $100K, but we're like, yo, let's do a crowdfunding campaign. We raised like $127K in 30 days.
Come on, bro.
And so we're like, I guess we won. You know what I mean? Because that was the whole point of the show.
Wow.
So we're like, man, like the power of, you know, building, you know, a community of people to support you, and then, you know, getting that right opportunity of exposure, and then God breathing on it. It's like, hey, I'm going to accelerate this thing, you know, so that you guys can kind of be in that position. And yeah, so that was, man, already, you know, 2015, 14 to now it's been 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So
into that, guys, my name is Ruslan, and this channel exists to encourage you to mastermind your business the master's way. May not be subscribed yet, so if you aren't, please hit that subscribe button, as we are on the verge of cracking 10,000 subscribers, and I would love to celebrate that with you. All right, now let's get into the video.